All right, let's just get right into it. We need to talk about why you might be donating your startup's entire runway to Vercel. See, the argument is they're not really a hosting provider anymore. They're a bank. And today, I'm going to show you how a simple move can put thousands of dollars right back into your pocket. What's this number? $2,280. Is that some fancy new server? A yearly license for a tool you'll barely use? Nope. Just stick with me because by the end of this, you'll know exactly what this number is and, more importantly, how it can be yours again. If you're running a team on Vercel, this number, or something like it, probably gives you a little bit of a stomachache. It's that annual cost that just seems to creep up and up as your team grows. Well, today, we're going to put an end to that. This quote right here, this is the heart of the whole thing. The feeling among so many developers is that you're not just paying for hosting anymore, you're paying these massive markups on what is basically commodity infrastructure. It turns your utility bill into something that feels, well, it feels like a high-interest loan. So let's break it down. What is this so-called Vercel Tax? It's not just one thing, right? It's a whole combination of pricing models that can make your bill feel completely unpredictable and, honestly, unsustainable. We're going to look at the three big ways these costs hide in plain sight. First up is the seat markup. This one's just wild. Vercel's Pro plan hits you for $20 per developer every single month. You got a team of 10? That's $200 out the door before a single person has even visited your website. Now, compare that to a self-hosted platform like Coolify. You know what it costs to add a teammate? $0, because it's your hardware. And then you have the bandwidth trap. This is where things can get really painful, really fast. Vercel charges 15 cents per gigabyte for overages. Meanwhile, you can go to a bare metal provider like Hetzner, and a basic server comes with, wait for it, 20 terabytes of traffic included. That's the difference between sweating every traffic spike and just not caring because your costs are fixed. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly describes what people call the enterprise cliff. You need one single critical security feature, like SAML single sign-on. Well, historically, that meant you were getting pushed from your $20 a seat plan into a custom enterprise contract that could cost thousands. When basic security is locked behind a paywall that high, yeah, it doesn't feel like scaling. It feels like you're trapped. Okay, so that's the problem. Enough complaining. What's the actual solution? Well, the open source community is rallying around self-hostable platforms. And there's one name that just keeps popping up again and again: Coolify. So what the heck is Coolify? Think of it like this. It's an open source project that you install on your own server. Could be a cheap box from Hetzner, could be DigitalOcean, could be a machine under your desk. It gives you that beautiful modern dashboard to manage all your apps, so you get the convenience of a managed platform, but you run it on your own terms. And the advantages? Oh man, they line up perfectly to fix every single one of the problems we just talked about. You get total control because it's your server. There's zero vendor lock-in. You get the same automated Git-based deployments you already love, but with costs that are actually predictable. And best of all, no platform fees for users or projects, ever. Okay, I can already hear you typing in the comments, but what about the developer experience? The DX is why we pay for Vercel. And you're right, that's the number one reason. The idea of self-hosting sounds like a huge headache, but what if I told you that you could get that same magic for free? This is the big one, isn't it? That amazing feeling of just typing git push and watching your app magically deploy to the world? That's the workflow developers absolutely do not want to give up. So how on earth does a self-hosted thing even begin to compete with that? Well, the answer, the secret sauce, is this incredible piece of open source tech called Nixpacks. This is what makes the magic happen. Just like Vercel's own build system, Nixpacks scans your code, doesn't matter if it's Next.js, Python, PHP, whatever, and it automatically figures out how to build a container for it. You don't have to write a single line of a Dockerfile. And here's what that workflow looks like. It's going to sound really familiar. You connect your Git repo to Coolify, you push a commit to your branch, Coolify sees it, kicks off a build with Nixpacks, and then deploys the new version with automatic SSL and rollbacks built in. It is the exact same Git push to deploy experience, just running on your cheap little server. So the tech is there, the workflow is there. Now for the part that really matters, your wallet. Let's do the math on what's being called deployment arbitrage, the huge cost difference between these two setups for a totally standard team of 10 developers. First, Vercel.
For that 10 dev team, you're starting at a baseline of $200 a month. That's just for the seats, remember?
Okay, now for the self-hosted stack, a server from Hetzner that's more than powerful enough to run all this. You're looking at as little as $5 a month. Yes, 5. And what about the cost for the Coolify software itself? The dashboard, the build system, all of it? 0. Zilch. It's open source. You only pay for the metal. And here's what that looks like side by side. $200 versus $5. This isn't a small optimization. We're not talking about saving a few bucks here. This is a fundamental change in how you pay for infrastructure. You're arbitraging the giant markup they charge for convenience that you can now get for free. And that brings us right back to that mystery number from the very beginning. A savings of $195 a month adds up to over $2,200 a year. That is real money that goes directly back into building your product, hiring people, or just extending your runway. So, what's the big takeaway here? This is about so much more than just saving money. It's really about a shift in your mindset. It's about going from being a passive customer of a platform to an active operator of your own stack. You know, the old argument against self-hosting was always that it was just too complicated. You needed a dedicated DevOps engineer just to keep the lights on. But modern tools have completely changed the game. Getting Coolify up and running is as simple as running a single install script. The barrier to entry has been obliterated. So here's what this all means for you. You can take back your budget with costs that are predictable and dirt cheap. You can own your stock completely free from vendor lock-in, and this is the most important part, you get to do all of it without sacrificing that modern, Git-driven workflow that your team absolutely loves. And that really leaves us with just one final question to think about. In today's world, where these powerful open-source tools have democratized developer experience, which role do you want to play? Are you going to be a customer, renting your infrastructure at a massive premium? Or are you going to be an operator, owning your stack, and investing those savings back into your own innovation? The choice now is actually yours.